Greetings. Greetings. How are you doing today? This is such a wonderful, wonderful day. It's April. Can you believe it or not? I am Sharon Pinder and the president and CEO of the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council and the operator of the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency located in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council is one of 23 affiliates of the National Minority Supply Development Council. Our goal is to certify, connect, develop, and advocate for minority businesses. And guess what? We've been doing it for 50 years. And so 50 years of the continuing moving forward to elevate the presence and success of minority businesses. This month is April, and it's Financial Literacy Month. And we're sitting down with a host of guests to discuss financial literacy, generational wealth, and succession planning, these key elements important for businesses. This week, we're having a conversation with none other than Jim Peterson, Vice President and Small Business Ambassador. I like that title, Ambassador for M&T Bank. In his role, he focuses on engagement, education, and empowerment of minority and women-owned businesses. So this will surely be an insightful conversation. But before we get started, let's talk about the folks that keep the lights on. Those organizations, corporations that are invested in the growth of minority businesses. And our title sponsors are Exelon, BGE, an Exelon company, Pepco, an Exelon company, Capital One, AMCUS, SB& Company. And we bring all of this to you as a result of our coronavirus response and relief program with the U.S. Department of Commerce MBDA Center. So before Jim comes on directly, let me just share just a little bit of information about him in case you haven't had the opportunity to interface with him personally yourself. In his role, Jim focuses on engagement, education, and empowerment of minority and women-owned businesses, as we said. But prior to arriving at M&T Bank, he served in the Mayor's Office of Minority and Women-Owned Businesses as the outreach coordinator for the City of Baltimore Small Business Resource Center. Jim is a former business owner, which is very important to this conversation, with over 25 years of business ownership, sales, and entrepreneurial experience. Under his leadership, he served in the mayor's office, as I said, as the outreach coordinator for the City of Baltimore Small Business Resource Center, where he created the 0 to 100 Business Accelerator. Let me say that again, the 0 to 100 Baltimore Accelerator. That is something we want to talk to him about. He was handpicked by the director, Paul Taylor, of the mayor's office to assist in the underserved communities of Baltimore City by sharing his experiences teaching and starting and building communities. He's a Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business contributor, an inner city capital connections contributor, and a Baltimore Means Baltimore contributor, an Accelerate Baltimore and Pioneer Baltimore contributor. I think he loves all things Baltimore. Jim, won't you come on so we can get this conversation started? How you doing today?
Hey, Sharon. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Oh, thank you for taking the time out. And thank you actually for kicking this month off for us as we look at an important conversation as relates to minority business, as you know, and that is all around financing and financial literacy and, access to capital and all those things. But before we get into just the depth of the kinds of things that you've been doing for minority businesses in this realm, let's just talk a little bit about your background. So I understand where you started from. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Philadelphia.
Okay. And how did you get to our fair city?
So I had a business up there. My partners and I, we had a flooring company, and we decided to move down to be closer to the port of Baltimore because we were shipping internationally. So we started working with BDC, if you're familiar with that, Baltimore Development Corporation, and we got connected to Paul Taylor. and a few others in town, including the MMG group, Mr. Stanley Tucker's group, Meridian Management, and together we came up with a plan to help us move our business into Baltimore City.
That's interesting. And so you are from the Philadelphia area. How did you decide to get into entrepreneurship, and why the flooring business?
So I'm going to try to keep this short, Sharon, but I was working in an engineering company, my partner and myself, and what I realized after 15 years there is that the only people making more money than me was the salespeople, right? So I wanted to be in sales. It was clear that that wasn't going to happen for a number of reasons, and so I started to look elsewhere. And believe it or not, there was a small ad in a little penny saver of a gentleman who was looking for a salesperson to help sell with his flooring company. And my partner and I both were working for the same engineering company. We both ended up working for this gentleman's company. And in a few years, we bought the company from him.
Okay. I think, Jim, that's an important aspect of talking to you, to understand that you know what it's like to meet payroll. You know what it's like to understand the nuances of being in business, and more importantly, for capitalizing your business, you understand what it means around acquisitions of business. And so, then you relocated your business. So those attributes become real assets in the conversation as we look at the kind of things that you do in the support of business. And so you got down here near the Port of Baltimore, and eventually you sold that business.
We did, and then a couple of subsequent businesses, and after that point, I invest in businesses. I work with. I'm intricately involved with small business on a number of levels.
That's fantastic. Listen, our coronavirus response and relief center launched at the start of the pandemic to provide information and assistance to our minority business firms. And
Right.
Since the pandemic, and almost 24 months later, what do you see in this? And I don't even call it a post-pandemic environment at this point in time, but in this environment, this current environment as we define it, what do you see as the existing need, or the greatest need for minority businesses right now?
You know what, Sharon? The easy answer is, and what the answer that most people will tell you is access to capital, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that there's plenty of capital available, especially in our market in the Mid-Atlantic. What small businesses need is access to information, right? They need access to mentors. They need access to advocates. That's what we're missing. That's what a lot of these minority-owned companies are missing. They're missing someone that has been down the road before, that can tell them how to navigate all the trials and tribulations on that road, right? So they need people to guide them. They need a financial advisor. They need to come into their bank, build those relationships, and allow their banker to assist them with that. If it's a capital need, that's what we do, right? Perfect. But if they need an accountant, we can recommend an accountant for you, right? An accountant is a very good source. Everybody should have a good CPA, especially if you're a minority business owner. You have to have a CPA for your certification. So you need to lean on those advocates for you and those mentors. Mentors are fantastic. I used to be a SCORE mentor. After getting out of the flooring business, I became a SCORE mentor. That's how Paul and I connected, because Paul's the SCORE office was in
Yeah.
Paul's office,
Right.
So that's how we connected. And then he said, "Hey, you got some time on your hands. You need to come. You need to come work for us." And we need more Black SCORE mentors. I want to put that out there. SCORE needs. When I first went to SCORE as a very young man in my 20s, they partnered me with an 80-year-old white man. Now, I have to say, that was the best partnership I ever had. That was the best connection I ever had in my entrepreneurial journey. But at that moment, I said, as soon as I'm able, I'm going to become a SCORE mentor. And we need more Black SCORE mentors. We need people that look like us, reaching back and helping those folks that need assistance.
Okay. So what I understood you just said, what you see right now as greatest need in terms of is access to the information so that they can leverage the information in order to become successful.
Absolutely.
Of that part of is because you're right, the navigation of resources available can become cumbersome,
Sure.
because you can spin your wheels going down the wrong path, even if you're knowing if you get information about resources, right? And
Exactly.
but it sounds like it's also key relationships. You said the key relationship with your banker, and I want to talk about that in just a moment. You said the key relationship with your CPA. You said developing those mentors, and as a part of that, one of the things that you recommended was scoring, and you personally had experience with that. And
Absolutely.
so, what do you suggest? And I want to talk about the 0 to 100 Baltimore Accelerator that you created. But before you do that, can you share with our listening audience the best way of developing and maintaining that banking relationship, and then keeping in mind that sometimes your bankers do change, but
Yes.
is it with the institution, or what's your advice, or is the relationship with the person? So talk a little bit about that.
So you want to start with your branch. You want to go in and talk to that branch manager. And if you have a small business, you may not have large sums of cash in the bank or other products that the bank may have, but every business is important to the bank, right? They want to make sure that you're happy. So you want to build that relationship with your branch manager. I mean, transactional services are great. We have great tellers, right? But you want more than that. You want to build that relationship. You want to take the time to get to know that branch manager so that they can get to know you and they get to know your business. And eventually you guys are making plans together, right? You let them know that, hey, listen, 6 months from now, I'm thinking about buying a new truck. And they can help guide you and position you to be prepared for that. They might be able to look at your account and tell by the trends in your account and say, hey, well, listen, if you're planning for that truck or that new piece of equipment, you might want to do this, this, and that, right? As your business grows, you'll be assigned a relationship manager, and that person will do the same thing. They can not only just assist you with your own business, but they can also give you some. Our sister company, Wilmington Trust. We have some wealth advisors, right? They can help you on the personal level. They can help you position your business to grow and eventually be able to transition out of that if that's your goal. Again, we have the folks in the branches that can assist you at one level, but then if you're ready to go to the next level, we have those folks as well.
Yeah, and in the spirit of full disclosure, I have to say that the Capital Region Minority Supply Development Council, our major bank relationship is with M&T.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
Certainly can, and has been for decades. So we certainly can attribute to that. And so tell us a little bit about the 0 to 100 Baltimore Accelerator.
Right. So when I worked for Baltimore City, I needed a partner. Right. I needed somebody. All these great ideas that I kept coming up with. I needed a funding partner. So of course I reached out to the bank I had always banked with, and that was M&T, and they were more than happy to come join me. So with that, I got my personal banker, Rosa Scharf, and she and I brainstormed, and she's been in banking for a number of years. And she knows the needs of small businesses just like I do. So together we came up with all those tools and connections that we both agreed that small businesses needed. And we started a program called Baltimore City 0 to 100 Accelerator. And in that 10-week program, we give all the folks who are in the program access to those individuals that could change their lives and their business lives, right? If you want to do business with the city, we're going to connect you with those folks in the city, from procurement, from the the MBE certification. If you want to do business with the county, we're going to connect you to those county individuals. If you want to do business with the state, we're going to connect you with those MDOT individuals that manage the MBE certification through the state. Right, so we're going to try to introduce you to those critical connections that could mean the difference between your business being successful and not. So every week they're going to learn something new. They're going to learn about marketing. They're going to learn about insurance. They're going to learn about legal. We're going to bring some attorneys in and help them with the legal aspects of your business. So we're just feeding into them and building those connections for them, like I mentioned earlier. And that program is growing. We not only do it in Baltimore City, we're doing it in Howard County. Howard County's program is called HOCO Hire, and their county executive, Calvin Ball, has really gotten behind it and become a great partner for us. We also do it in Montgomery County. We just graduated 21 individuals out of Montgomery County with our 0 to 100 program in Howard County. We're about to do something in Hartford, and we're looking to take this across the M&T footprint.
Okay, so outstanding. That is quite outstanding. So, so it's still in existence in Baltimore. And how many classes, how many cohorts have gone through at this point?
So we've had 2 cohorts. We had to take a pause because of COVID, but we've had 2 cohorts so far, and we're looking for the next cohort to start in the fall.
So if people are interested, and you said Montgomery, Howard, you said Baltimore City,
And Hartford.
And Hartford County. So if people are interested in attending, which sounds like a boot camp, a 10-week boot camp of sorts, how can they get information about that?
Well, you can go to your branch and ask them about the program. In Montgomery County, they're going to look for AJ Nwaga. She's fantastic out there. In the Baltimore area, you're going to reach out to me at jpeterson3@mgb.com.
Okay, outstanding. So you're a serial entrepreneur. One of the things, and so I didn't know if your entrepreneurship was genetic in your DNA, in any entrepreneurs in your family. But where I'm going with this is that as we look at the growth of minority businesses, businesses these days, we aren't my father was an entrepreneur. We aren't our father's entrepreneurs, much more savvy and much more learned in terms of growing our businesses. But how do you see, as we look at minority businesses in particular, Black-owned businesses, maybe as an example, the impact of generational wealth? And, how do you see that? And what's the importance of it as far as you're concerned?
Well, it's very important. And like you said, it's different than it was many years ago. And I think one of the issues that we have that we really need to deal with is we don't talk about money. Right? We grew up where, well, you don't talk about that. You don't ask a person about how they made their money, how they're making their money, what they're
in terms of the culture.
Yeah, in terms of culture, right? In our households, the parents, we didn't have those conversations,
right.
Especially parents and kids, right? That's grown folks' business.
Right.
But it shouldn't be. We need to get past that. We need to start having those conversations and passing on, again, that knowledge, that access to information. I wish I had a lot more knowledge. I didn't have that in my family. I couldn't go to Uncle Joe, who owns a dry cleaning place, and ask him how does this business thing work. Mm-hmm. Right? So you just had to figure it out on your own, and you make a lot of mistakes. That's what makes me such a good business coach, because I made a lot of mistakes. Right? I can tell you all the things not to do, because I learned the hard way.
Those are the best kind of mistakes, right?
Yeah, and it would be fantastic if we had somebody to guide us. And it starts with the parents. You need to have those conversations about budgeting and saving. And again, share those mistakes with your kids. They're not going to love you any less because you had that car repossessed, right? Instead of telling them somebody stole it, right? We all know those. You all have that family member that said their car got stolen, and we know that car was not stolen, right? You learn when you get older. Right, they say, yeah, that car wasn't stolen. He didn't pay the bill. Right, but we gotta
remember the time, right?
Yeah, you're 30 years old and you find out, oh, wait a minute, that car wasn't stolen.
Those are the funeral conversations, right?
Right. So, but we ought to be having those conversations about money in our homes.
Mm-hmm. Not a problem. And so, share with our audience as we bring to closure our exchange today. Share with our audience some nuggets that you've been doing this since the time we've been talking, but other nuggets you think that's important for them to understand, particularly around financing.
Yeah, what's big is first of all, have a financial advisor. right? Both personally and for your business, because again, these people are keeping an eye on the trends. We have a lot of tools within M&T Bank. One of them is called Vertical IQ, and we can look per industry. You know, if you go to your banker and say, "Hey, listen, you know, I'm a contractor. I'm in flooring, like I was. That's my background." And I want to know what's coming up for flooring. You know, how's the flooring industry look? We can go into Vertical IQ and tell you how the flooring industry fared during COVID, right? We can tell you if things are up, if things are down. We can tell you how the labor market is as it relates to flooring, right? We can tell you what future projections are for the flooring industry. You know, there's a lot of information that your banker will have, and your trusted advisors. Many CPAs have the same kind of information, and you want to lean on those folks, and that's what you need. You need good information from folks who know business and who are current, right? They've been through it. They've been through this pandemic. I'm fortunate enough to have been through 2001, you know, which was a downturn because of 9/11. Been through 2008. You know, when we look for successful business in terms of an investor, you're looking for businesses that are tried and true, right? If that particular business owner hasn't been through some stuff, you know, you look for his team. You look for someone on his team that has been through some stuff. You know, were they in business during 2008 when things got bad?
Sure.
Right? You can make it through that. Exactly. So you look for people who are tried and tested. And now coming through this pandemic, so many of these business owners who have made it through, they're going to be much better business owners moving forward.
Before we go on to the next one, I want you to repeat the tool that you said. That will give you the
Vertical IQ.
Vertical IQ. We want to make sure that folks hear. So if you go into your branch, or go into your what you see in your advisors, they would have access to the information about your industry.
Now not the teller. You want to talk to someone from either your branch manager or someone from business banking.
From business banking, okay, and that gives you what, a competitive advantage, correct?
Absolutely.
And yeah, so
no charge for this, right? You want to sit down, schedule an appointment with your branch manager or your business banker, and say, hey, I want to hear more about my industry, and they'll be happy to share that with you. There's no charge for that.
Okay. And any other tools, because I also want you to come back to tell us about what profiles are the kinds of things that you looked at in your investment role, but any other tools that you can suggest?
Yeah, so we have a great tool called Money Mentor, right? So you can go to mtb.com and search in the search box, Money Mentor. And it's a fantastic tool. And what it does is you can create your own playlist, right? It'll ask you, are you looking for budgeting? Are you looking for credit management? Are you looking for wealth building? Are you planning a retirement? And whatever it is that your goal is, based on that, we're going to ask you a number of questions. And once you complete those questions, we have some online trainings that are going to help you reach your goal. And again, that's free of charge. Anybody can go on there. It's on our website, and you can go to Money Mentor, and it'll assist you with all kinds of ways of reaching your goal.
Money Mentor. Yes. Outstanding. Any other tools?
Again, just the knowledge of the folks that are with M&T. What I've been impressed with so much since I've been here are the folks that are here and the knowledge that they have. So you want to get to know your branch managers. You want to get to know your business banker. We have some great tellers as well, like I said, within the branch. But you want to just spend some time with them, and you'd be surprised at how much not, especially at whatever area that you're in. If they're from that area, all the resources that they're aware of, we try to keep everybody abreast of what's available out there, and they're happy to share it with you at any time.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and particularly when you look at banks like M&T Bank, who have a vested interest in our community. We look at Chuck Martin, for example, from M&T Bank, who has really been a primary contributor to parlaying his knowledge for us, for the Capital Region Council. So he's a great investment of his time with that. And Ana Gonzalez, who we look for our expert. So these folks are second to none in their expertise that they lend to us and lend to minority businesses.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that we have to bring this to closure. It's been a great conversation, but I'd like to, people look for infusion in cash oftentimes.
Mhm.
They look to make sure, not unlike when you're ready to sell your house, you want to make sure your house is staged and you're ready, right? And so what
Right.
is it that you can tell folks to do about their business, particularly if they aspire to at some point sell their business? What are those kind of things that they should do, and what are those kinds of things that investors are looking for?
Yeah, so the most important thing that a business owner can do to prepare to sell the company is processes and procedures, right?
Sit things clear.
I'm sorry, yeah, exactly, right? But I learned that the hard way when people started
Yeah.
looking at us to buy our company.
Mhm.
They knew that, what they're looking for anyway is that, how are we going to run the business without you?
True.
Right? So many of these businesses, all the processes and procedures are up here,
Hmm.
right? We need somebody who's investing in a company is looking for a booklet you can give them and say, hey, when I'm not here, you can find everything you need in this booklet, right? So you need processes and procedures for every step, every part, every aspect of that business.
So you need to shore up your infrastructure.
Absolutely. Shore that up, but also be able to put it in form that you can hand it to somebody else.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Any other advice?
Well, again, build a good team, right? You got to
And
have a good team.
that's important. That's important,
It's,
right?
it's, it's extremely important.
So
So many of us want to do everything on their own, and I was one of them. I was the hard-headed guy that didn't want to listen to anybody. And again,
and
you
so,
learn the hard way.
and so who should you equip to surround yourself with?
Well, you want to have, the old acronym BAIL, right? You want to have your banker, your accountant, your insurance agent, and your lawyer, right?
Banker, accountant, insurance agent,
And
and
your
your lawyer.
absolutely your bail. When you
Bail.
get in trouble, you need bail.
You want them to bail. Okay, I love that. I love that. And you heard it from Jim Peterson at M&T Bank. Jim, we have certainly enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for the work that you do. Some would say it's a ministry, right? Thank you for the work that you do, that we know that you'll continue to do. And it's just a blessing that you have taken it upon yourself to continue to work on behalf of minority businesses. And so, on behalf of minority businesses everywhere, thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, then. Ladies and gentlemen, we're blessed to have talked with Jim Peterson at M&T Bank. And we want to, at this point in time, thank some additional corporate sponsors for today's podcast. All right. AARP, Allion, AT&T, and this is for folks who are listening and can't see our graphics here. BAE Systems, BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport, the City of Baltimore, the DC Department of Small and Local Business Development, Dominion Energy, the Ellison Group, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the Financial Realty Services Company, the Hilton, Horseshoe Casino, Leidos, Lockheed Martin, M&T Bank, the Maryland Governor's Office of Small Minority and Women Business Affairs, Mass Mutual, McCormick, Northrop Grumman, Parsons, Peapod, Prince George's County Office of Central Services, SAIC, Sodexo, Truist, United States Postal Service, University of Maryland College Park, University of Maryland Global Campus, Washington Gas, Metro, Zillion Technology, and Zones. As I shared with you, this is an exciting year for us as we celebrate our golden anniversary. June 29th will be our super matchmaker, and stay tuned to us to see what else is going on. And in case you missed any of these podcasts, and we just finished a fabulous Women's History Month, go to our website, which is www.crmsdc.org, or for past episodes, go to crmsdccares.com. Don't forget to also listen and subscribe to our podcast, which you can find on Google, Spotify, or Apple, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And our at CRMSDC is how you find us. And before you go, I'd like to extend a special thanks to our Coronavirus Response and Release Center and our media production company for our behind-the-scenes support and helping us make this happen. Thank you, Sonia, Nicole, Renee, and Graybo Media. Farewell, and I'll see you next time.